Hello, normies, and welcome back to another episode of Normie Chat. I'm going to talk a little quietly because I'm so self-conscious doing this in my dorm. Anyway, so the game that you'll see that I'm playing right now, obviously not right now, but that I played earlier is called Klockie. I think that's how it's pronounced. And it's available on a website called... Okay, I think it's called Congregation, but honestly, I can't even remember. I have a bunch of free games, and this is a puzzle game, has a lot of solving and stuff like that. I've been watching my boyfriend play it, and he was on a higher level, and so he was rotating a lot of stuff around, so you'll see that sometimes I'm clicking, like, how do I rotate? But I just haven't gotten there yet. So, Chase specifically asked me not to make a Klockie video and ruin his new love with my normie chatness, but of course that means that I had to go ahead and do it, so please enjoy. I did not finish the game. I got to a puzzle that kind of stumped me, but if you're interested, I really highly recommend you going and checking it out. If you've noticed, I have a little bit of a lisp. That's because I stopped wearing my retainers. So I'm now in adult braces again, technically Invisalign. I think it kind of adds to, the stereotypical gamer girly air, when you see them on TV shows and they have that and like big braces and stuff. So whatever, I'll just accept it. But I might get lipstick on my teeth at some point, but you probably won't even see it because it's so bright in here. Anyway, let's get to game chat. So this is Klockie. That's really all I have to say about it. It's kind of addicting, but a little frustrating, but definitely if you just kind of want to like tease your brain a little bit, it's fun. So those of you who have watched my videos on League know that I love to play Misfortune. By League, by the way, in case there are any like actual normies out there, not that I'm not an actual normie, but I mean League of Legends. So Misfortune, I started playing her because my boyfriend and his best friend were always on League of Legends. And I would try to get him to go out and actually do things with me. And I'd show up to his room and I'd be like, hey, I've been calling you. I was locked outside. Like, what are you up to? And he's like, oh, sorry, babe. I'm in the middle of a game of League, bro. In the middle of a League game. We can't leave for another 20 minutes because that's how long they last when you don't play against bots. So, he and his best friend would always be like, you look like just like this character in League of Legends. And I'd be like, yeah, I really don't care. That game frustrates me. But they were like, yeah, her name's Misfortune. And she like hunts pirates. And I'm like, did somebody say pirates? So that's why I play her, but I looked at her and I'm like, I don't really see it. Maybe because I don't have like orange hair. But and my nose is a little different. Hers kind of goes up. Mine doesn't do that. Mine just kind of sits there. But this morning my boyfriend showed me a cool thing on Facebook. I'll show you that now. And basically you can comment and it will tell you what League character you look the most like. I think it's random because Chase did it 3 times and got 3 different people. I think he got Zed, some guy that reminds me of Darkrai, and Ezreal. So it might just be random, but he insists that they all have like a similar chin and nose, so maybe. But so I put my name in and I got Misfortune. So there you have it. I guess I actually do look like my favorite pirate hunter. So I'm still not entirely sold, but that's why. So if you ever play a game with Broadway Bailey and you see her like quit before it even starts, it's because I only play Misfortune and someone must have took her, and I am definitely willing to take the L. Yeah, I can't remember how I actually started playing League. I think it was like Chase's friends and him were playing, and they were asking me to come on and try it, and I was like, no, you're just gonna make fun of me. But they had me go on, and then sometimes Chase would like go to the bathroom, and I'd just start playing League, and when he came out, I'd be in the middle of a game. And then I was like, oh, okay, I kind of understand why this has an appeal. Although, I don't understand how it has more of an appeal than an actual, like, semi-attractive female sitting in front of you, but maybe that will come with time. Anyway, so since we're talking about League of Legends, this is going to help me segue into my next topic. You won't see why at first. Anyway, I go to a really fantastic school. How do I know this, you may ask? How do I know that my school is so good? Is it because it's the 8th best business program in the country, ranked right beneath Yale? Is it because it's in the sunny and beautiful state of Florida, just 30 minutes away from my family? Is it because I ended up being blessed with being cast in the musical last semester? No, it's not. I mean, all that stuff is pretty great, but the reason why I go to the best school in the whole world is because they brought the Phantom of the Opera in for all of us to meet yesterday. If you know me at all, which you probably don't, you're going to know that I love the Phantom of the Opera. That is the show that got me into the performing arts. I mean, literally, there is a running joke in our development of musical theater class that if it's not about Phantom, Bailey doesn't care, because it's true. I mean, like, people are talking about Hamilton, and I'm like, what is that? Or Dear Evan Hansen, I'm like, I don't know who that is, but if it's Phantom, I know I know the chandelier's name. I know how many lights that it has. I know everything about Phantom of the Opera. And if I don't know something about Phantom of the Opera, you better tell me, because I want to know. How does this relate to League of Legends? Okay, let me get back. So, recently, League of Legends unveiled a new champion, and his name is Jhin. And I love Jhin. I don't play Jhin because I only play Miss Fortune, but I love Jhin. The reason being that Jhin reminds me of the Phantom of the Opera in a lot of ways. Mostly like the I'm an artist and I'm also going to kill you way, but some other ways too. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed any parallels. The only people probably watching this are my family members, friends, and or the occasional man who happened to find a link and click on it and is like, oh my gosh, is this really 22 minutes of this girl like just talking about something she knows nothing about? And yes. Oh, it's so bright in here. Yes, it is. So, Jhin the virtuoso. But what does virtuoso mean? A virtuoso is a person who is highly skilled in music or another artistic pursuit. Who does that sound like? The Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom of the Opera composes scores for different operas like as often as I change my underwear. He does it super fast. He can play the organ. I'm sure he can play any number of other instruments because he can write scores for them. I mean, is that how that works? I don't know. And he's an amazing singer. He teaches Christine how to sing. He's an artistic critic. He has so many funny one-liners about how Carlotta cannot sing at all. She's actually pretty good, but you know, whatever. I'm just saying that because that's the role I would probably be cast in. But you don't care. Back to Jhin. So, of course, there's the first parallel between Jhin and the Phantom of the Opera. Some of Jin's moves, special abilities, have names that make me think of Phantom of the Opera. For example, Captive Audience and Curtain Call. Don't know much about them because I play Miss Fortune, but I think Captive Audience captures someone in like a lotus flower, and Curtain Call, I think that's like his big final, like his ultimate, where, you know, you like shoot someone and you like one-shot them, or maybe there's 4 shots, but the last one's a one-shot. I watched a video on it a while ago, but I think that's the gist of it. So the Phantom of the Opera kills everyone. Everyone he kills in the theater. So these special abilities with theater-like names, such as Captive Audience and Curtain Call, of course remind me of Phantom of the Opera. And speaking of Captive Audience, the Phantom drops a chandelier on the audience, trapping and killing many of them in a fire. If that is not a captive audience, I do not understand what is. Oh, it's so bright in here, honestly. That's better. I don't like where I am in the frame anymore, but that's better. Okay. So, I'm going to be doing this in every video I film in this dorm, I swear. Whatever, just deal with my overexposed face. It fits. We're talking about Jin here. Additionally, in Phantom of the Opera, the Phantom comes out in disguise as one of the other actors and performs alongside Christine, and she doesn't really know that's him until like the middle of the song, and then he captures her. Whoo, captive audience. And at the end of Phantom of the Opera, I hope I don't spoil this for anyone, but Raoul comes to save Christine. Hate him. And the Phantom literally sticks a noose around his neck and is hanging him there and making him watch as he like torments Christine and forces her to choose to sacrifice her own freedom to save him. Captive audience. Wow, I just probably lost any viewers that I might have still had in this 11 minutes of talking about nothing from dabbing, but that's okay, it was worth it. Alright, so where am I now? Here we go. Jin sees murder as the ultimate art form, and the Phantom, every time he murders someone, he doesn't do it the easy way, okay? Like, the Phantom of the Opera doesn't take place as long ago as we think that it does, or we might be led to think that it does. Like, you could just shoot someone, or like, stab. But he doesn't do that. The Phantom really likes to hang people. And in the novel by Gaston Leroux, he plans to blow up the entire theater. You know, it's been a while since I've read the novel, but it's basically like there's a grasshopper and a scorpion, and they represent Christine's choices, and depending on which one that she chooses, there's all these powder kegs, and they're going to blow up the theater, and I think he wrote a song too, but he's calling it his magnum opus, and for an artist, the magnum opus is like their greatest piece of artwork. It's what they spend their entire life, or a lot of their life, working on. It's their masterpiece. And so, you know, the whole idea of murder being art, we really see that in the novel, because he's saying the way that I'm going to kill everyone is my masterpiece. And Jin, he is a brutal artist. Every time, all of his special abilities are supposed to be very show-offish and intricate and planned and rehearsed. And Phantom. Also, Jin was a prisoner who was freed, and the same thing happens in Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom, well, it depends on which origin story. There are a couple, but the one in the cruddy 2004 movie is that he was with a band of traveling gypsies, and he was kind of a little bit child slavery. He was treated as an attraction because he had this deformed face, and they would beat him like every day for the crowd's amusement until someone freed him, and that would be Madame Jury. You don't know who that is, probably. Unless you're a Phantom fan, then I don't mean to insult you by being like, you don't know who that is. I'm just assuming what my audience would likely know. So if you do know who that is, bonus point. Who's that? Oh, that's my friend. All right. So Jin has seemingly unlimited funds, just like the Phantom of the Opera. The Phantom gets paid large sums of money by the owners of the opera company to write their operas for him. So he basically gets all that money to just spend on creating artwork or, funding his many schemes. I don't know what he does with the money, but it has to be something. And for both Jin and the Phantom of the Opera, they are considered to be Renaissance men who were brilliant students in several subjects. Now, these two men are not jack of all trades, masters of none. They are true Renaissance men, like Leonardo da Vinci. Like the Phantom, we see that he can play music, write music, he can sing, he can teach, he can sculpt, he can sew, he can do anything. And Jin is the same way, according to his origin story. And Jin works in the shadows, but craves attention, and yet he wears a mask. And that's very similar to the Phantom of the Opera. He craves that attention and love from Christine that he never got from his mother or from his peers for his entire life because of his deformities, which are beyond his control. So while he craves that attention, he does work behind the scenes. Like, you don't see him, except for when he wears a cloak over his face, in the musical at least. In the movie, it's a little different, because they wanted to sex it up. But, he's not very comfortable with himself. So he's always writing the musicals, teaching the singers, designing the sets. He's not actually, I'm turning this ringer off, he's not actually in the limelight as much as he wants that attention. And I guess the same goes for Jin, because Jin doesn't take the mask off. We don't get to see the face of the killer. And is there anything even there? I don't know. I think Chase said something like the Darkrai guy. No, not the Darkrai guy. Zed. They think that Zed might just be a shadow under his mask. They don't know if there's actually a person there or not. I don't know if the same thing goes for Jin. But with Jin, that animation of him that you see is like him looking into a cracked mirror, which also made me think of Phantom, because at the end of the 2004 movie, the Phantom breaks the mirrors open, and one reveals like a secret passage, and he goes through. And also in both the movie and the musical, he enters Christine's dressing room through a mirror. What else do I have in here? Well, that's about it for Jin. I guess something that I've been wondering is my boyfriend and his friend are also very into Hearthstone. They've been trying to get me to play it. I don't really know if I'm up for downloading that. But I don't understand what Hearthstone is about. I was told that Hearthstone is about funnel cake, and that they had a character in Hearthstone that was like a funnel cake dealer. Like, hey kid, you want to buy like some funnel cake? And if you didn't buy any funnel cake, he'd scream at you, buy them! And I've been watching my boyfriend play Hearthstone, and it looks like online Yu-Gi-Oh or something. Not that I ever watched Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm a normie, but I thought it was going to be like, if not like in a massive online role-playing game, it would be like, I don't know, maybe even like Neopets or something, where you go and like they'll talk to you and you do little quests. I was not expecting like a card game. So if you can help me out, if you've actually watched this super long video, and leave a comment and tell me what Hearthstone is. Like, what is there, like, is it like League of Legends? Or basically all you do in the game is like kill each other, but there's like all this lore behind it and all of these like origin stories.